Hello, and welcome you all to our Sunday segment of Divine Femininity United. I'm your girl, Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee, and we are here for our chapter 2 reading of the phenomenal book written by Dr. David R. Hawkins. It is called Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender. This is our new book that we started on this past Tuesday, and we got the introduction done, the preface, the foreword. We got all of those things out of the way so that today we can jump right into our reading of the actual book in and of itself. Well, we were reading the actual book anyway, but of course, we had to read those previous chapters and sections in order to lay the proper foundation and groundwork for this amazing book, you all. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's already, if you were with us on this past Tuesday, then you already know what it's going to be, okay? At any point, as you already know, you have something that resonates with you that I read and it speaks to you, or you get an insight about it, please utilize the chat, utilize the comment section, share your thoughts, share your voice, and then I'll read it aloud. I'll be, your narrator for you. Okay. If you want to come up, let me know and I can, send you the link if you're viewing by way of either Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube or Twitter or whatever. Let me know and I'll forward you the link. That way you can come up and you can share your piece on the screen. If you're listening by way of Clubhouse, then let me know, raise your hand, and I'll bring you up so that you can speak and everybody can understand or hear what you have to say. Okay. But in the meantime and in between time, we are going to start with chapter 2. Chapter 2 is entitled The Mechanism of Letting Go. The Mechanism of Letting Go. What is it? Letting go is like the sudden cessation of an inner pressure or the dropping of a weight. It is accompanied by a sudden feeling of relief and lightness, excuse me, with an increased happiness and freedom. It is an actual mechanism of the mind, and everyone has experienced it on an occasion. A good example is the following. You're in the midst of an intense argument. You're angry and upset. When suddenly the whole thing strikes you as absurd and ridiculous, you start to laugh. The pressure is relieved. You come up from anger, fear, and feeling attacked to feeling suddenly free and happy. Think how great it would be if you could do that all the time, in any place and with any event. You could always feel free and happy and never be cornered by your feelings again. That's what this technique is all about. Letting go consciously and frequently at will. You are then in charge of how you feel, and you are no longer at the mercy of the world and your reactions to it. You are no longer the victim. This is employing the basic teaching of the Buddha, which removes the pressure of involuntary reactivity. We carry around with us a huge reservoir of accumulated negative feelings, attitudes, and beliefs. The accumulated pressure makes us miserable and is the basis of many of our illnesses and problems. We are resigned to it and explain it away as the quote unquote human condition. We seek to escape from it in myriad ways. The average human life is spent trying to avoid and run from the inner turmoil of fear and the threat of misery. Everyone's self esteem is constantly threatened by both from within and without. If we take a close look at human life, we see that it is essentially one long, elaborated struggle to escape our inner fears and expectations that have been projected upon the world. Interspersed are periods of celebration when we have momentarily escaped the inner fears, but the fears are still there waiting for us. We have become afraid of our inner feelings because they hold such a massive amount of negativity that we fear we would be overwhelmed by it if we were to take a deeper look. We have a fear of these feelings because we have no conscious mechanism by which to handle the feelings if we let them come up within ourselves. Because we're afraid to face them, they continue to accumulate, and finally, we secretly begin looking forward to death to bring all of the pain to an end. It is not thoughts or facts that are painful, but the feelings that accompany them. Thoughts in and of themselves are painless, but not the feelings that underlie them. That is so true. It is the accumulated pressure of feelings that causes thought. One feeling, for instance, can create literally thousands of thoughts over a period of time. Think, for instance, of one painful memory from early life, one terrible regret that has been hidden. Look at all the years and years of thoughts associated with that single event. If we could surrender the underlying painful feeling, all of those thoughts would disappear instantly and we would forget the event. This observation is in accord with scientific research. The Gray LaViolette scientific theory integrates psychology and neurophysiology. Their research demonstrated that feeling tones organize thoughts and memory. Thoughts are filed in the memory bank according to the various shades of feelings associated with those thoughts. Therefore, when we relinquish or let go of a feeling, we are freeing ourselves from all of the associated thoughts. The great value of knowing how to surrender is that any and all feelings can be let go at any time and any place in an instant, and it can be done continuously and effortlessly. What is the surrendered state? It means to be free of negative feelings in a given area, that the creativity and spontaneity can manifest without opposition or the interference of inner conflicts. To be free of inner conflict and expectations is to give others in our life the greatest freedom. To be free of inner conflicts and expectations is to give others in our life the greatest freedom. Interesting. It allows us to experience the basic nature of the universe, which it will be discovered is to manifest the greatest good possible in a situation. This may sound philosophical, but when done, it is experientially true. Next section, feelings and mental mechanisms. We have three major ways of handling feelings: suppression, expression, and escape. We will discuss each in turn. Number one, suppression and repression. These are the most common ways in which we push feelings down and put them aside. In repression, this happens unconsciously. In suppression, it happens consciously. We don't want to be bothered by feelings, and besides, we don't know what else to do with them. We sort of suffer from them, through them, and try to keep functioning as best as we can. The feelings that we select to be suppressed or repressed are in accord with the conscious and unconscious programs that we carry within us from social custom and family training. The pressure of suppressed feelings is later felt as irritability, mood swings, tension in the muscles and the neck and back, headaches, cramps, menstrual disorders, colitis, indigestion, insomnia, hypertension, allergies, and other somatic conditions. When we repress a feeling, it is because there is so much guilt and fear over the feeling that it is not even consciously felt at all. It becomes instantly it becomes instantly thrust into the unconscious as soon as it threatens to emerge. That's true. The repressed feeling is then handled in a variety of ways to ensure that it stays repressed and out of awareness. Now, psychologically speaking, I can tell you this is where selective memory comes in at. Okay, when we repress feelings, we try to escape it away, and all of those things. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Greetings. Thank you for tuning in on Facebook. I see you. But this is where, look, you listen. They say it's at select right. Hello, stated this is so true, and it's true. It's very true. It's very true. That's where selective memory comes in at, because it is easier to push it away in the back closet, in the back corner, than to feel the feelings associated with this again. A lot of people, especially people that I've worked with, people that we've had to really go into the deep unpacking. Okay, Celeste, I see what you did there. I see I see what you did there. Hi, Celeste. That is amazing. I love that. Thank you. That was creative. Hello, Celeste. How are you? Yes, I've worked with so many different people that have so many repressed emotions, repressed feelings, repressed events that they've pushed down deep in them to where they don't want to remember, and to the point where they've done it so regularly that even if you do mention the event or the happenings of what took place, they will argue you down that that never happened. They will argue you down that that never happened. Not to say that to them they're not to say that they are quote unquote lying. It's not about lying. They truly, truly, truly have conditioned themselves to erase the happenings. Period. So to them, they're not lying. To them, they're not. They just reprogram themselves not to feel or not to even remember that thing. Selective memory. They blocked it out. They blocked it out completely. Okay. And so it takes, somebody like myself or other mentors, healers, things like that has to go, because what you cannot heal from what you won't reveal. You cannot heal that. And whether you think and whether you're conscious of the things or not doesn't mean that it's not showing up in your life, because it most certainly will. Okay. It'll show up in your relationships. It'll show up in your homes. It'll show up how you raise your children, how you relate to your parents, your elders. It'll show up in your work. It'll show up everywhere. How you treat yourself. It'll show up subconsciously. You're acting from it, but consciously you've pushed it aside. You see what I'm saying? All right, let's go. Let's continue reading. Of these mechanisms used by the mind to keep the feeling repressed, denial and projection are perhaps the best known methods. Yes, it is, as they pretend to go together and reinforce each other. Denial results in major emotional and maturational blocks. Yep. It is usually accompanied by the mechanism of projection. Because of guilt and fear, we repress the impulse or feeling, and we deny its presence within us. Instead of feeling it, we project it onto the world and those around us. We experience the feeling as if it belonged to them outside of us. They then become the enemy, and the mind searches for and finds justification to reinforce the projection. I'm telling you, blame is placed on people, places, institutions, food, climatic conditions, astrological events, social conditions, fate, God, luck, the devil, foreigners, ethnic groups, political rivals, and other things outside of ourselves. I say it all the time, especially in the realm of Christianity and things like that. I say it all the time. The devil ain't did nothing to you, okay, at all. What you're fighting are your own inner things that you need to deal with. Okay, we want so much to blame it on somebody else, all to avoid that inner look. There is no inner me. There's only an inner me. Hello? There has never been an inner me. There's only an inner me. Okay? Inner me. You've only been battling self. That's it. That is all. And as soon as we own it, okay, because your shadow self, if you do not get that under control and heal those shadow areas, my love, your shadows will consume you. I'm telling you now, they will consume you. Okay? All right, back to the book. I had to breathe. I had to breathe in and release right then and there. My goodness. Okay. Projection is the main mechanism in use by the world today. It accounts for all wars, strife, and civil disorder. Hating the enemy is even encouraged in order to become a quote unquote good citizen. We maintain our own self-esteem at the expense of others, and eventually this results in social breakdown. The mechanism of projection underlies all attack, violence, aggression, and every form of social destruction. Okay? That was suppression and regression. Do the shadow work. Celeste said, do the shadow work. Do the work. Because guess what? Your shadows, the inner parts of you, your Lilith, that deep that dark part of yourself, and the light of you is all you. So the sooner you embrace the truth of all you, doesn't mean that you have to be destined to be that. No. But you do have to acknowledge that is there. You got to acknowledge it. You must acknowledge it. Even in AA, the first step to recovery is what? Acknowledging. Because if you don't think that you have something to heal, to fix, to repair, to grow, to mature in, all of those things, then what are you even doing? What are we doing? Right? You got to first acknowledge it. All right? You got to. Yes. Okay, here we go. Let's continue. We're going into expression now. Number 2, expression. With this mechanism, the feeling is vented, verbalized, or stated in body language and acted out in endless group demonstrations. The expression of negative feelings allows just enough of the inner pressure to be let out so that the remainder can then be suppressed. Come on. This is a very important point to understand. For many people in society today believe that expressing their feelings frees them from the feelings. The facts are to the contrary. The expression of a feeling first tends to propagate that feeling and give it greater energy. Second, the expression of the feeling merely allows the remainder to be suppressed out of awareness. The balance between suppression and expression varies in each individual depending on early training, current cultural norms and mores, and the media. Expressing oneself is how in vogue as a result of a misunderstandings of the work of Sigmund Freud and psychoanalysis. Come on here. Come on. Freud pointed out that suppression was the cause of neurosis. Therefore, expression was mistakenly thought to be the cure. Okay? Sigmund Freud was said to be. He's said to be, and now we don't know how true this is, but he is said to be the founder of, or the forefather of, psychology. However, he himself, it was evident that he was suffering through a lot of different things. So some of his theories, are now being debunked, or expounded on. Let me not say debunked, but expounded on further. Okay. Freud pointed out that the suppression was the cause of neurosis, therefore expression was mistakenly thought to be the cure. This misinterpretation became a license for self-indulgence at the cost of others. What Freud actually said in classical psychoanalysis was that the repressed impulse or feeling was to be neutralized, sublimated, socialized, and channeled into constructive drives of love, work, and creativity. If we dump our negative feelings on others, they express it as an attack, and they in turn are forced to suppress, express, or escape the feelings. Therefore, the expression of negativity results in the deterioration and destruction of relationships. A far better alternative is to take responsibility for our own feelings and neutralize them. Then only positive feelings remain to be expressed. That's it. Don't make other people responsible for your stuff. It's your stuff. Okay. Celeste on Facebook says we must be aware of media spell casting as well. You better know it. Reality shows aren't reality at all. They're very much so scripted. And this is coming from someone who was a cast member in filmed. I was one of the leading cast members of a reality show. It didn't make past the pilot, okay? Because Yeah, that's yeah. Trust me. And when I backed out of it, it was when the directors and the writers wanted to create chaos between myself and somebody else. They wanted to create a situation. And we were about to film, and I was getting myself prepared to head over to set. And I received a message from one of the writers. And they said, well, we want you, we're going to be filming today, and we want you to argue with another cast member about this, and this. What? Why would I do that? I don't have an issue with her. We want you to argue. We're going to create the scene. You're going to be arguing about this. You're going to be arguing for, and they're going to be arguing against. Are you serious right now? See? Because we were supposed to be the reality show that was different from, okay, everyone else. But when you did that right there, we just became a part of everybody else. It's about the, we got to get the people in. We got to get the viewers. We got to get them the organic way. Okay. So, and you see how far that went. It didn't make it past pilot. Boom. Okay. Be the difference. Be the difference now. Okay. Here we go. Number 3, escape. Escape is the avoidance of feelings through diversion. This avoidance is the backbone of the entertainment and liquor industries, and also the root of the workaholic. Come on, Capricorns. Come on. That's my South Node. So I've broken away. I'm still working on breaking away from that workaholic stuff. Okay. Because usually for me, and I've identified this, okay, Capricorns and Virgos for sure, even some Tauruses, earth signs. Let's just say all earth all earth signs, but mainly Capricorns for sure. Okay. Need to know how to pull away and deal with what's on your mind and not use your work as a distraction. Okay. Because that's exactly what it is. This avoidance is the backbone of the entertainment and liquor industries, and also the root of the workaholic. Escapism and avoidance of inner awareness is a socially condoned mechanism. We can avoid our own inner selves and keep our feelings from emerging by an endless variety of pursuits. So many, you're chasing so many rabbits that you're distracting yourself from the real issues that you need to be facing. Many of which eventually become addictions as our dependency upon them grows. Drugs, alcohol, sex, okay? Yep. Food. People are desperate to stay unconscious. I'm going to say that again. People are desperate to stay unconscious. We observe how often people flick on the TV to the minute they enter a room and then walk around in the dreamlike state, constantly being programmed by the data poured into them. People are terrified of facing themselves. Listen, people. People are terrified of facing themselves. My word. I just want to let that say la for a minute. People are terrified of facing themselves. They dread even a moment of aloneness. Come on, to the ones that for some reason you got to have somebody. You got to have somebody. You go from one relationship to the next, to the next, to the next, not allowing yourself to decompress, not allowing yourself to purge from what was, to get yourself back to yourself, a moment of silence, a moment of stillness, a moment of groundedness, a moment of healing, a moment of reflecting, learning, applying the lessons that you learned. And then you jump right into a whole other situation, carrying problems from one issue to one relationship to the next, to the next, to the next. All why? Why? Because they dread even a moment of aloneness. Because in aloneness is reflection. And what was the previous sentence? People are terrified of facing themselves. Thus, the constant frantic activities, the endless socializing, talking, texting, reading, music playing, working, traveling, sightseeing, shopping, overeating, gambling, movie going, pill taking, drug using, and cocktail partying. Many of the foregoing mechanisms of escape are faulty, stressful, and ineffective. Each of them requires increasing amounts of energy in and of itself. Enormous amounts of energy are required to keep down the growing pressure of the suppressed and repressed feelings. There is a progressive loss of awareness and an arrest of growth. An arrest of growth. The growth is arrested. Yikes, come on. Mm, So let's say some people don't know how to sit with self. They don't. They do not. So let's then says reflection is so important. It's a must. It's a necessity. You cannot escape that at all. The growth is arrested. There's a loss of creativity, energy, and a real interest in others. There is a halting of spiritual growth and eventually the development of physical and emotional illness, disease, aging, and premature death. The projection of these repressed feelings results in the social problems, disorders, and the increase of selfishness and callousness characteristic of our present society. Most of all, the effect is the inability to truly love and trust another person, which results in emotional isolation and self-hatred. Mm. In contrast to the above, what happens instead when we let go of a feeling? The energy behind the feeling is instantly surrendered, and the net effect is decompression. The accumulated pressure begins to decrease as we constantly let go. Everyone knows that when we let go, we immediately feel better. The body's physiology changes. There are detectable improvements in skin color, breathing, pulse, blood pressure, muscle tension, gastrointestinal function, and blood chemistries. In the state of inner freedom, all bodily functions and organs move in the general direction of normalcy and health. There's an immediate increase in muscle power. Vision improves, and our perceptions of the world and ourselves change for the better. We feel happier, more loving, and more easygoing. We just do. We just do. You understand? And you get yourself to a place where, you know, you get yourself to a place where you course correct on your own. You know what I'm saying? You get yourself to a place where it's like, look, I've been filled up to capacity with negative stuff. I've been unforgiving. I've held on to so many things. I've been. Celeste said this chapter is fire. Listen, we are just beginning. This is just chapter 2, honey. Okay? I've been there. I know the feelings. I don't like it. I went through the process of letting go, right? And when new things come, because as long as we got flesh wrapped around these bones and live in this iteration on this planet Earth in this life, we are going to come across some stuff, okay? We're going to come across some stuff. We're going to experience some things. We're experiencing the experience right now, okay? So we're going to experience some things constantly. But because you've gone through the process of releasing things that you once held on to, you are careful, you are intentional, and you are deliberate to not put yourself back there again. So when you know, and when you check, and when you go through something and you check yourself, you say, listen, yeah, man, you catch it, and you say, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Release that. Oh, no. That's pattern. We're not doing that. Let that go. So let's say it's called boundaries. You set boundaries and you uphold the boundaries yourself. It's self-correct is self-love. This is self-love. It's standing in your higher self and using the higher self to course correct your human self. If you think a thought that is not nice, not kind to someone, your higher self steps in and says, nope, let it go. Repent. Undo that. We don't do that. That stuff doesn't live in us. We're not made of those things. We are made of love, infinite peace, infinite joy, infinite happiness. When I see someone, I do not judge them based on negativity. I judge them based from the element that they were formed in, which is love, which is me, which is them. We are one. I am them, they are me. And if I love them, if I love me, I love them too. No negativity about another man. We are one of one as one. I protect them even if I don't know them. I protect them even if they don't know me, because I am them. And we are love. Period. Okay? That's what it is. So we get to a place, the more we let go, the more we heal, the more we evolve, we get ourselves to a place where we check us according to who we are. Not what society says we are. No. We check us. Period. Okay? Next section, feelings and stress. There's much attention and publicity given to the subject of stress without a real understanding of its essential nature. It is said that we are more stress prone than ever. What is the essential cause of stress? Certainly, it is not the external precipitating factors. They are merely examples of the mechanism we described as projection. It is quote unquote they or quote unquote it that is thought to be the culprit, when in fact, what we are feeling is merely the letting out of the inner pressure of repressed emotions. It is these repressed feelings that make us vulnerable to external stress. The real source of stress is actually internal. That's it. The call always comes from inside the house. Hello? It's an inside job. It is not external, as people would like to believe. The readiness to react with fear, for instance, depends on how much fear is already present within to be triggered by a stimulus. Let me say that again. The readiness to react with fear, for instance, depends on how much fear is already present within to be triggered by the stimulus. Listen. If fear isn't inside, no matter what happens outside of you, it wouldn't phase the inside of you. Okay? Even in scripture, it says, out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. So what's in there is what comes out. Hello? If it was never in there, it wouldn't come out of there. Hello? You will never, ever draw orange juice from an apple. I promise you, never. Why? Because it was never in there. Therefore, it could never come out of there. Hello, somebody. That's it right there. The more fear we have on the inside, the more our perception of the world is changed to a fearful, guarded expectancy. To the fearful person, this world is a terrifying place. To the angry person, this world is a chaos of frustration and vexation. To the guilty person, it is a world of temptation and sin, which they see everywhere. What we're holding inside colors our world. If we let go of guilt, we will see innocence. Ooh, listen. However, a guilt-ridden person will see only evil. That's it. You can't trust anybody because you can't be trusted. Come on here. Let's talk about this thing. You can't trust anybody because you can't be trusted. You can't love anybody properly because you have yet to know what love is for yourself. Come on now. Come on now. I love you. I got to tell you the truth. I love you. I got to tell you the truth. We on this journey together now. We're holding each other hand. We're walking each other back home. We got to take this walk. Grab my hand. Let's go. Take my hand. Let's go. We got to do it. Okay? The basic rule is that we focus on what we have repressed. Stress results from the accumulated pressure of our repressed and suppressed feelings. The pressure seeks relief. And so external events only trigger what we have been holding down, both consciously and unconsciously. The energy of our blocked off feelings reemerges through our automatic nervous system and causes pathological changes, leading to disease processes. A negative feeling instantly causes a loss of 50% of the body's muscle strength. Come on here. A negative feeling, okay? In a moment of a negative feeling, it instantly causes loss of 50% of the body's muscle strength and all narrows our vision, both physically and mentally. Just one instant of negative feeling, you all. This is what it does to our physical body. So imagine what constant living in, ruminating in negativity does to our body. Imagine what it does. And we wonder why sickness and diseases enter our being, because you are breaking down your protective shield because of the emotions and the feelings that you want to hold on to. Stress is determined, okay? No, stress is our emotional reaction to a precipitating factor or stimulus. Stress is determined by our belief systems and their associated emotional pressures. It is not the external stimulus, then, that is the cause of stress, but our degree of reactivity. Reactivity. The more surrendered we are, the less prone we are to stress. The damage caused by stress is merely the result of our own emotions. The effectiveness of letting go and reducing the body's response to stress has been demonstrated in scientific studies. Many stress reduction programs offered today often miss the essential point. They then try to relieve the after effects of stress rather than remove the cause of the stress itself, or they concentrate on external events. Exactly. This is why the practice that I operate in is cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, we hit the what's of the matters, right? We hit the matters, the what's, right? But the what's I'm not interested in. I'm interested in the why. I'm interested in the why. The what is simply the byproduct of the why. The what is the aftermath of the unmitigated why, right? I'm not interested in the what. It's the why. Get me to the why. Why did you feel this? Why did you think this? Why did you do this? Why did you say this? Get me to the why. Because where the why resides, so does the seed, right? Once you point me to the seed, then together, collectively, we're going to work to purge the seed of the why. Okay? We're going to work to purge the seed of the why. We're going to work to heal, expose, confront, right? Feel, all of that. And then we're going to release. And once we release the seed of the why, the what is no longer a concern, because the seed is the reason why the what happened in the first place. You purge the seed, release the seed, the what is gone forever. That's it. Now, he then says, This is like trying to reduce the fever without correcting the infection. For instance, muscle tension is the aftermath of anxiety, fear, anger, and guilt. A course in the techniques of muscle relaxation is going to be of very limited benefit. It could be far more effective instead to remove the source of the underlying tension, which is the repressed and suppressed anger, fear, guilt, or other negative feelings. Next section, life events and emotions. The rationalizing mind prefers to keep the true causes of emotion out of awareness and utilizes the mechanism of projection to do this. It blames events or other people for causing a feeling and views itself as the helpless, innocent victim of external causes. They made me angry. He got me upset. It scared me. World events are the cause of my anxiety. Actually, it's the exact opposite. The suppressed and repressed feelings seek an outlet and utilize the events as triggers and excuses to vent themselves. We are like pressure cookers, ready to release steam when the opportunity arises. Our triggers are set and ready to go off. In psychiatry, this mechanism is called displacement. It is because we are angry that events make us angry. It's because we're already angry that the event makes, quote unquote, us angry. If through constant surrendering we let go of the pent up store of anger, it is very difficult and, in fact, even impossible for anyone or any situation to, quote unquote, make us angry. The same, therefore, goes for all other negative feelings once they have been surrendered. Because of social conditioning in our society, people even suppress and repress their positive feelings. Suppressed love results in the broken heart of the heart attack. Suppressed love reemerges as excessive adoration of pets and various forms of idolatry. True love is free of fear and characterized by non-attachment. Fear of loss energizes undue attachment and possessiveness. Listen here. Listen here. Fear of loss energizes undue attachment and possessiveness. For example, the man who is insecure about his girlfriend is very jealous. When the pressure of suppressed and repressed feelings exceeds the individual's tolerance level, the mind will create an event out there upon which to vent and displace itself. Thus, the person with a lot of repressed grief will unconsciously create sad events in life. The fearful person precipitates frightening experiences. Okay. The angry person becomes surrounded by infuriating circumstances, and the prideful person is constantly being insulted. As Jesus Christ said, "Why do you see the splinter which is in your brother's eye, and do not see the beam which is in your own?" That's Matthew 7:3. All the great masters pointed us within. They absolutely did. They absolutely did. Everything in this universe emits a vibration. The higher the vibration, the more power it has. Emotions also, because they are energy, emit vibrations. These emotional vibrations impact the body's energy fields and reveal effects that can be seen, felt, and measured. Motion pictures using Kirlian photography, such as those done by Dr. Thelma Moss, show rapid fluctuations of the color and size of the energy field, which changes with changes of emotion. The energy field has traditionally been called an aura and can be seen by people who have been born with and learn the ability to see vibrations of that frequency. The aura changes color and size with emotions. Muscle testing also demonstrates the energy changes that accompany emotions. As our body's muscles instantly respond to positive and negative stimuli. Thus, our basic emotional states transmit themselves to the universe. The mind has no dimensions or size and is not limited in space. Therefore, the mind transmits its basic state via vibrational energy over an unlimited distance. This means that we routinely and unwittingly affect others by our emotional state and thoughts. Emotional patterns and their associated thought forms, for instance, can be picked up and received consciously, consciously by psychics at a great distance. It definitely can. This can be demonstrated experientially, and the scientific basis for this has been a subject of great interest in advanced quantum physics. Because emotions emit a vibrational energy field, they affect and determine the people who are in our lives. Life events become influenced by our repressed and suppressed emotions on the psychic level. Thus, anger attracts angry thoughts. The basic rule of the psychic universe is that like attracts like. Similarly, love promotes love, so that the person who has let go of a lot of inner negativity is surrounded by loving thoughts, loving events, loving people, and loving pets. This phenomenon explains many scriptural quotations and common sayings that have puzzled the intellect, such as, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and those who have get. As a general rule, therefore, people who are carrying the consciousness of apathy bring poverty circumstances into their lives, and those with the prosperity consciousness bring abundance into their lives. Because all living things are connected on vibrational energy levels, our basic emotional state is picked up and reacted to by all life forms around us. It is well known that animals can instantly read a person's basic emotional state. It's true. These are experiments demonstrating that even the growth of bacteria is affected by human emotions, and that plants register measurable reactions to our emotional state. It's so true. It's true, you all. Mm. Yes, Celeste. Celeste says yes. This Matthew 7:3. Mm-hmm. Next section: the mechanism of letting go. Letting go involves being aware of a feeling, letting it come up, staying with it, and letting it run its course without wanting to make it different or do anything about it. It means simply to let the feeling be there and to focus on letting out the energy behind it. The first step is to allow yourself to have the feeling without resisting it, venting it, fearing it, condemning it, or moralizing about it. It means to drop judgment and to see that it is just a feeling. The technique is to be with the feeling and surrender all efforts to modify it in any way. Let go of wanting to resist the feeling. It is resistance that keeps the feeling going. That's it. When you give up resisting or trying to modify the feeling, it will shift to the next feeling and the accompanied by the lighter sensation. A feeling that is not resisted will disappear as the energy behind it dissipates. As you begin the process, you will notice that you have fear and guilt over having feelings. There will be resistance to feelings in general. To let feelings come up, it is easier to let go of the reaction to having the feelings in the first place. A fear of fear itself is a prime example of this. Let go of the fear or guilt that you have about the feeling first, and then get into the feeling itself. When letting go, ignore all thoughts. Focus on the feeling itself, not on the thoughts. Thoughts are endless and self-reinforcing, and they only breed more thoughts. Thoughts are merely rationalizations of the mind to try and explain the presence of the feeling. The real reason for the feeling is the accumulated pressure behind the feeling that is forcing it to come up in the moment. The thoughts or external events are only an excuse made up by the mind. As we become more familiar with letting go, it will be noticed that all negative feelings are associated with our basic fear related to survival, and that all feelings are merely survival programs that the mind believes are necessary. The letting go technique undoes the programs progressively. It really does. Through that process, the underlying motive behind the feelings becomes more and more apparent. To be surrendered means to have no strong emotion about a thing. It's okay if it happens, and it's okay if it doesn't. That's what I call being connected but not attached. When we are free, there's a letting go of attachments. Come on here. Come on, next sentence. We can enjoy a thing, but we don't need it for our happiness. Come on. There is a progressive diminishing of dependence on anything or anyone outside of ourselves. These principles are in accord with the basic teaching of the Buddha to avoid attachment to worldly phenomena, or as well as the basic teaching of Jesus Christ to be in the world, but not of it. Sometimes we surrender a feeling and we notice that it returns or continues. This is because there is more of it yet to be surrendered. We have stuffed these feelings all of our lives, and there can be a lot of energy pushed down that needs to come up and be acknowledged. When surrender occurs, there is an immediate lighter, happier feeling, almost like a high. By continuously letting go, it is possible to stay in that state of freedom. Feelings come and go, and eventually you realize that you are not your feelings, but that the real you is merely witnessing them. You stop identifying with them. The you that is observing and is aware of what is happening always stays the same. As you become more and more aware of the changeless witness within, you begin to identify with that level of consciousness. You become progressively primarily the witness rather than the experience of phenomena. Yes. You get closer and closer to the real higher self and begin to see that you had been duped by feelings all along. You thought that you were the victim of your feelings. Now you see that they are not the truth about yourself. They are merely created by the ego, that collector of programs which the mind has mistakenly believed are necessary for survival. The results of letting go are deceptively quick and subtle, but the effects are very powerful. Often we have let go, but think that we haven't. It will be our friends who make us aware of the change. That's it. One reason for this phenomenon is that when something is fully surrendered, it disappears from our consciousness. Now, because we never think of it, we don't realize that it has gone. This is a common phenomenon among people who are growing in consciousness. We are not aware of all the coal that we have shoveled. We are always looking at the shovel full we are handling right now. We don't realize how much the pile has gone down. Often our friends and family are the first to notice. To keep track of progress, many people keep a chart of their gains. This helps to overcome the resistance that usually takes the form. This isn't working. It's true. So when you count your blessings, I call it counting your blessings. The book, The Magic, written by Rhonda Byrne. She's the author of The Secret. She talks about that, the importance of counting the blessings, because when you're focused on the blessings that you have, the good things, sitting in gratitude, then you're not thinking about the other stuff, okay? And you're not saying things like this isn't working, okay? It is common for people who have made enormous gains to claim that it just isn't working. We have to remind ourselves sometimes that we were what we were like before starting this process. I'm telling you, because from where I sit right now, to be honest, don't get me wrong, I'm still working on, as we all are still working on things. From where I sit right now, the me that I am today, in comparison to the me that I was this time 20 years ago, is day and night. Day and night. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I gave myself permission to be more be better, to choose more, to choose better, to choose my infinite happiness, my infinite peace, to choose me in all of my divinity and all of who I am, to choose me. And when the more and more I did that, the more and more in love I fell with myself, my true, authentic self, essence, higher self. I became more familiar with that the beingness of me, of all, of I, of one, you know. And the more and more maturation comes and growth and healing and all of those things, I love what's unfolding, revealing itself, what's always been. And it keeps me going. It keeps me on the path of growth. I'm here for it. I love it. Next section, resistance to letting go. Letting go of negative feelings is the undoing of the ego, which will be resistant at every turn. This may result in skepticism about the technique, forgetting to surrender, a sudden upsurge of escapism, or venting feelings by expressing and acting out. The solution is simply to keep on letting go of the feelings you have about the whole process. Let the resistance be there, but don't resist the resistance. You are free. You don't have to let go. Nobody is forcing you. Look at the fear behind the resistance. What are you afraid of regarding this process? Are you willing to let go of that? Keep letting go of every fear as it arises, and the resistance will resolve. Let's not forget that we are letting go of all of the programs that we have made us a slave and a victim for a long time. These programs have blinded us to the truth of our real identity. The ego is losing ground and will try tricks and bluffs. Once we start letting go, its days are numbered and its power is diminished. One of its tricks is to go unconscious about the technique itself, for instance, to decide suddenly that the mechanism of surrender isn't working. Things are still the same. It is confusing and too hard to remember and do. This is a sign of real progress. It means that the ego knows we have a knife with which to cut ourselves free, and it is losing ground. The ego is not our friend. Like Master Control and Tron. I remember Tron. Ooh, that movie came out in 1982. I remember Tron. It wants to keep us enslaved by its programs. Letting go is a natural ability. It is not something new or foreign. It is not an esoteric teaching or somebody else's idea or a belief system. We are merely utilizing our own inner nature to get freer and happier. When letting go, it's not helpful to think about the technique. It's better simply just to do it. Eventually, it will be seen that all thoughts are resistance. They are all images that the mind has made to prevent us from experiencing what actually is. When we have been letting go for a while and have begun experiencing what is really going on, we will laugh at our thoughts. Thoughts are fakes, absurd make-believes that obscure the truth. Pursuing thoughts can keep us occupied endlessly. We will discover one day that we are right where we started. Thoughts are like goldfish in a bowl. The real higher self is like the water. The real higher self is the space between the thoughts, or more exactly, the field of silence, of silent awareness underneath all the thoughts. We have had the experience of being totally absorbed in what we were doing when we scarcely noticed the passage of time. The mind was very quiet, and we were simply doing what we were doing without resistance or effort. We felt happy, maybe humming to ourselves. We functioned without stress. We were very relaxed, although busy. We suddenly realized that we never needed all those thoughts after all. Thoughts are like bait to a fish. If we bite at them, we get caught. It's best not to bite at the thoughts. We don't need them. Inside of us, but not out of awareness, is the truth that I already have everything I need to know. I already know everything I need to know. And I already have everything I need to have. This happens automatically. Paradoxically, one resistance is to surrendering is due to the effectiveness of the technique. What happens is that we keep letting go when life is not going too well and we are beset by unpleasant emotions. As we finally surrender our way out of it and all is well, then we stop letting go. This is a mistake because as good as we may feel, there's usually more to it. Take advantage of the higher states and the momentum of letting go. Keep on going because it will get better and better all the time. Letting go gains a certain momentum. It is easy to keep it going once it is started. The higher we feel, the easier it is to let go. That's a good time to reach down and let go of some things, suppressed and repressed garbage that we wouldn't want to tackle if we were in the dumps. There is always a feeling to be let up and surrendered. When we are feeling good, the emotions are merely subtler. Sometimes you will feel stuck with a particular feeling. Simply surrender to the feeling of being stuck. Just let it be there and don't resist it. If it doesn't disappear, see if you can let go of the feeling in bits and pieces. Another block that may occur is the fear that if we let go of a desire for something, we won't get it. It is often beneficial to look at some commonly held beliefs and let go of them right in the beginning, such as we only deserve things through hard work, struggle, sacrifice, and effort. The next, suffering is beneficial and good for us. The next, we don't get anything for nothing. And the next, things that are very simple aren't worth much. Yeah, we do hold on to those. Those are definitely common held beliefs that we need to let go of. Letting go of some of these psychological barriers to the technique itself will allow an enjoyment of its effortlessness and ease. That's good. Ooh, that's good. So that is the end of this particular chapter here, you all. All right. And we will begin on Tuesday in 2 days at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with chapter 3, The Anatomy of Emotions. The Anatomy of Emotions. Okay. If you do not have the reading material, feel free to reach out to me to get the reading material. We just finished chapter 2. So we're right at the beginning. You haven't missed much. You can just go back, listen to the last recording and catch up. That's it. You're not far behind at all. And then the sessions don't last, more than just over an hour, if that. Okay. If that. If it lasts over an hour, it's because I'm adding to it, running my mouth. Okay. But yes, you can catch up. No problem. We're just at the beginning of the book. Reach out to me to receive your ebook copy. It's a PDF form. All right. Send me your email address. And you can send your email address by any way that you can contact me, whether it be back channel on Clubhouse, whether it be inbox on any other platforms, whatever the case, or you can send me an email. Email me at info@biancamissblee.com. You can visit my website on Clubhouse. It's right above my head. Just tap there. It'll send you straight there. Every other platform is on the screen or in the captions, okay? That is Bianca Miss Lee. That is BiancaMissBlee.com, okay? Also follow me on social media, you all. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Clubhouse. All Dr. Bianca Miss Lee, okay? Alrighty, you all, listen. Once again, it's been a joy. And I love you. I mean it. There's absolutely positively nothing you can do about it. Have a phenomenal rest of your Sunday. We will see you back here on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at Divine Femininity United. Peace.